I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Hounds to Heroes. Today's interview, I have Michaela and her service dog. Here's a little bit of information about Michaela and her service dog. So today we have Michaela and her service dog, Cora, with us. Michaela is an ex-correctional officer and has been training for service dogs for 5 years. Michaela has owner-trained all of her service dogs. Now she has Coda, who is a Kiosk mix, reliable trained service dog. Michaela has over 3.5K followers on TikTok and provides a service dog education and helps owner trains her service dog and also has businesses as well under her belt too. Let's get started in this interview, shall we?
So let's get into the questions. So first question is, what is the hardest part about training your own service dog?
Definitely for me, it was just knowing where to start. I trained my first service dog. His name was Loki, and it was probably one of the hardest things I've done because I wasn't in the community at all. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do, and definitely not having like a good support system for training him. It certainly served a lot of challenges, but now as a bigger handler and a bigger creator, it has given me a lot more, grounding and footing in order to start.
So have you ever ran into a fake service dog, and how did your dog do during that situation, or did anything happen?
So one of the more recent fakes that I came across, we were at the mall and we had rolled up to the food court, and this severely aggressive German Shepherd just came lunging out at us. And me and Cora, we have this like emergency command where she will tuck herself underneath my wheelchair and in between the wheels to protect herself. That way I can better maneuver her away from the situation. She's able to basically perceive the threat and immediately remove herself from it. And it's not something that I taught her. It's something that like she just inherently picked up. And this shepherd just completely and utterly lost it, and he was literally having to drag him away down, and security came up, asked us if we were okay. We said, yeah, we're a little shaken. I went full blown into a PTSD episode. It was not fun. But security then later found them and kicked them out of the mall basically because of that. And it was scary. It's one of the very few like actual fake incidents that I have, like, because yeah, we see them around, see them everywhere, but this was actually one of the few that I've been in that was an actual like incident where the dog actually reacted and stuff like that.
Right. And when it comes down to the safety of our animals, I think we try our best to avoid situations so that way they're not getting in. People want to try and do the fake spot where they're getting their video cameras and they're trying to put their dogs in dangerous situations. And I feel as if us service dog handlers try our best to, yes, we can make it an educated moment, but take our dog's safety more important than getting a video. That's more important than anything.
100%. Like, I don't do the fake spotting. I don't like going up to people and be like, oh, hey, like, that's not, like, if they come up to me and like, oh, look, I have a service dog, and obviously I'm going to address it. Like, they're already up close to me, might as well. But I'm not going to go seek them out because that's just putting my dog in danger where it doesn't need to be.
Agreed, 100%. So what is your advice to someone that is thinking about training their own service dog? How do you have a certain breed that you think is the best starting out? Do you have any tips, tricks, or anything that you can give advice on?
So I've seen a lot of owner training handlers that, especially and I've seen a lot of handlers that just, especially when they're starting from a puppy, they hit that fear period and they just completely get disheartened, and they kind of forget that fear periods are a thing and they need to be worked through. And there's not necessarily a breed that does better than anyone else, because there's no starter breeds that would do better, because every dog is tailored to each individual person. It kind of entirely depends on what you need, what you want, what, you know, your lifestyle is, how you're going to be able to better exercise that dog and stuff like that. Like, hell, I have an Akita mix. And
to be fair, I thought she was a shepherd.
Yeah, to be fair, we did thought she was an Anatolian shepherd, but that's just because she looks like it. But it's entirely, you know, dog to a person, and, you know, some mutts do better than some purebreds. It's just, you know, whatever you need, whatever you want, and like whatever your lifestyle is.
Soulmate.
Right, and it's
Yeah.
great to know.
Like Cora, before I got her, failed out of 4 different dog academies. She went to 4 different academies and failed out of every single one of them until she came to me. And I think stuff like that happens for a reason, and that just made her come to me, which I turned her into a reliably trained service dog who, you know, saves my life on a daily basis.
Right.
It's entirely dependent on what you want and what you need. And like some people do better with certain breeds. Some breeds, you know, have the breed tendency to do better than others, but, you know, that doesn't mean that it's the right fit for the person.
Right, I completely agree with that. So, have you had any access issues? And if so, what is the worst one that you've had access issues with, and how did you handle it?
I'm one of the rare few that hasn't had any, like, necessarily access issues. I have had a incident where I was at a courthouse in North Carolina, and they were requiring service dogs to be a part of the voluntary registration, and we tried telling them and over again that, you know, that's not how that works. This is a voluntary registration, and we are from out of state. We're not supposed to. We don't live here, so we can't register our dogs. And they eventually just kind of gave up and let us through where we needed to go. But it was because of some videos that we had posted that we were actually able to get in this time.
Wow. How has having a service dog made your life easier?
As somebody who, like, had their one of their service dogs just completely and utterly ripped away from them, it definitely makes my life a lot easier, and it gives me a lot more confidence on a day-to-day basis, and able to go out without being scared of, you know, passing out, hitting my head, having a seizure. And I went through a whole, I think it was 6 to 8 month period where I didn't have a service dog. And when I had one back to back, like before, and it sucked. It sucked not being able to go out and have the confidence in order to go out because of the constant fear of, you know, passing out, having a seizure, stuff like that. And it gives a handler such security in themselves and in their own ability in order to do things, and it gives us as the disabled community a lot more freedom.
Right. I've heard in the community, as well as we being called like animal abusers, we're privileged, we're this, we're that. And I've made this comment to other handlers and creators as well when I'm doing their interviews, and they've given some insight into how they feel about that. How do you feel about it?
The big thing that I always say, like when they say, oh, well, you're privileged that you have a service dog, yada yada, everyone is just one small accident away from joining the disabled community. Like, people need to take a real long look at what we do. These dogs are our lifelines. They're worth tens of thousands of dollars, and they're treated way better than we treat ourselves. There are a reason to live for some of us, and for others of us, you know, there are, you know, our independence, and we need our independence. So we treat them way better than what most people think because we need them.
Right. And how I explain it when I'm doing a live or anything else like that is with the way that, I don't know if you know this YouTuber or anything else like that. Her name's Molly Burke. She's a blind YouTuber and everything. And she's basically said in a video one time with Shane Dawson that her dog is like a Tesla compared to pet dogs like they're Toyotas. They're high end because they went to schooling for 2 years. They're trained for 2 years. They have to be on their A game. And yes, dogs aren't robots and they do mess up, and we're okay with the mess ups and everything because that just comes with territories of dogs. But they're very intelligent, they're very highly trained, and they're very well taken care of.
Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with anyone distracting your service dog while you were in a medical episode, or just you were out and about and somebody touched your dog and caused you to have a medical episode?
That is something that I deal with on almost every single time of me going out, and my especially a lot of kids for some reason lately, and parents are like, oh, their kids like all upset, and they say, oh, look at the dog, look at the dog, like everything's gonna be fine, go pet the dog. And I'm like, let's not teach our kids to distract service dogs. And parents get all uppity about it. It's just like, it's completely and utterly like, I said, please, please, like, can we not?
Right.
People seem to think that when they're working or when they're doing deep pressure therapy, like I have a patch that says deep pressure therapy, not cuddling. And people seem to think that it's, you know, super cute, or like when they have boots and they like try to call them over to look at the boots or something like that. I don't understand, because a lot of Americans have dogs. It's a dog. You've seen this dog. You've seen a dog. It's just a dog.
Right. So what is the biggest misconception that you have heard about service dog handlers that you want to address?
There's a lot, but
You can do all of them.
I'm trying to think of like a really good one that probably nobody else has said.
You are the second person I asked this to, so there hasn't been a lot.
So like, I've heard a weird misconception that we're not supposed to feed or water our service dogs that we're not supposed to feed or water our service dogs in public. And I'm like, well, if I eat a sandwich inside of a shop, well, my dog should be able to eat or drink. Like, I'm confused on why that's a thing. That's probably one of the more bizarre ones that I've heard, is that we're not supposed to feed or water our service dogs, and that the ADA says that we can't. And I'm like, well, first off, the ADA is a set of laws, not like a person. So when people are like, oh, I'm going to report you to the ADA, I'm just like, all right, let that textbook. I hope that textbook answers that phone for you.
That is the most weirdest one I think I have ever heard, because I've seen, like, when people travel with their service dogs, like, they've got to eat too, like, they're animals that they live in, they need to eat and they need to drink, so they get lunch breaks just as much as we need a lunch break.
Even like while I'm in the hospital, like I'll bring her kibble with me, like, kind of a thing. And I don't know where that started coming from, where that came about, but I heard it on the grapevine, and I'm just like, what?
That is the weirdest one I think I've ever heard. So what is the worst thing about having a service dog nowadays?
Definitely the fear of dogs. Having a service dog gives you a fear of other dogs and fear of people, and it makes you, if you don't have paranoia already, you're gonna be trained by the time that you know you're done reliably training your service dog, or by the time you know that you get a few years in, you're gonna be completely and utterly afraid of keys, anything that's like sound like jingling or something like that, because you'll immediately think it's a dog, and you'll hear like, you know, strange noises and you'll think that's a dog, and you'll be constantly looking around, and it gives you a hypervigilance. And I already have hypervigilance, and so now I have hypervigilance even more because of it.
And I agree to that. Like since having my service dog since I was 19, I have been hyper aware of like I've always been hyper aware of my surroundings, but I'm even more like checking behind my bag, looking at an aisle before I walk down it to make sure there's no fake. If I see a person, like when I go, because where I live, Walmart's just right down the street. So when I go to Walmart and when I do bring him with, because some days I do, some days I don't, depending on if I'm running in and out. But when I do go in there, I'm like tied on, like not for him, like not tied on leash because he's not doing a proper heel or anything, but just like so anxious where I'm like kind of like holding on the leash a little bit and like checking around, like, oh my gosh. And if I see a dog, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm scared, I'm nervous. And even if it is a real service dog, I tend to go in different directions so that way my dog is not getting distracted by his dog and his dog's not getting distracted by mine, just so that way they can do their shopping and live their lives like I can.
Yeah, and, like, especially if you're a team that's been attacked like I have, like it certainly heightens your hypervigilance 100%.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy that you said that you would be willing to do this, and with everyone else that's willing to do this, I'm like, yay, I'm so excited. So my last question for you is how has having a service dog improved your life? In what way has having a service dog made you want to like keep on like being a content creator or keep on just living your day-to-day life?
I'll be completely honest. The online service dog community is one of the most toxic communities that I've ever probably been a part of. But it's like having a family. Shit's gonna happen, and it's gonna be, it's gonna be tough sometimes. But if everybody sticks together and we all eventually come back together, then everything's gonna be fine. And I've thought about not being a content creator a lot. Like it crosses my mind like probably once a month, like, hey, why am I still doing this shit? But and then I see everybody else that tags me and stuff that's, oh, tag your favorite service dog handler, or oh, tag this person or that person, and I'm like, and I get tagged, and I'm like, oh, thanks, guys. And it reminds me that there's a community out there that likes me. Right. So, and you just gotta kind of ride the politics on it, kind of a thing. It's a hard thing to do, to be a content creator, especially a disabled content creator, but it's a reward in and on itself.
Agreed. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this and being a part of this, and thank you so much. And if you guys haven't already, please go subscribe to her TikTok. It is amazing, and she has great content on there as well, doing service dog training to anything with her beautiful dog. I think her dog is like the cutest thing ever. I just want to go up and like squeeze the face like so much all the time, because it's just the something about your dog is very like eye pleasing,
Cora is a very pretty girl. She and she knows it. she's got them high step tippy toes, and she knows it.
Like, kind of like prancing, like, I know I'm hot. I know I'm hot. So thank you so much for doing this.
Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team one day it'd be me. If I want it, then I'll get it. Head down, don't